Hi, anyone and everyone. This is Kim, the Humble Hermit from Come As You Are Oracle. I'm going to do a collective oracle and affirmations for today. Today is Wednesday, December 24th, 2025. You may follow me on the Tack, the Tube, my blog, or not. Totally up to you. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. It all might resonate, it all might not. I don't know. It's affirmations. We're going to use the Urban Crow Oracle by MJ. If you guys don't celebrate Christmas, that's fine. I celebrate it, but more, I don't really celebrate it like, and I'm not really one for gift giving at Christmas. Like I kind of stopped doing that years ago. However, this year I felt the need to bless my father and brother with some literature, so I bought them books for Christmas. But other than that, I don't usually do gift giving. Like I gave some of my friends at work candy just because who doesn't love candy? But I mean, I don't really, because I gift people all year long. You know what I mean? What's the big deal at Christmas? Like I said, I stopped doing that years ago. But anyway, if you guys don't celebrate Christmas, if you don't believe, if you're more of a winter solstice kind of gal or guy, there is nothing wrong with that. I love winter solstice. If you're more witchy, I'm more witchy, but again, I tend to celebrate Christmas. It just is what it is. And it's okay. And I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but I'm just saying it. All that matters is you believe in what you believe in, and you stick to your beliefs. Or let them change as you change and grow. Right? There you go. We got one on the table. Let's see if we get a story. Because I feel like it's a story. I feel like it's a collective. And I wasn't going to use this deck, but I knew I was going to use the Sacred Creators Oracle, which I'm uploading to YouTube right now. And then I was like, I really want to do a crow reading, even though it's Christmas. Fuck them Christmas cards. Crow is where it's at. Hold on, I think that's 5. I just want to make sure they're not stuck. We got 5. Let's do one more shuffle. 6. Oh, didn't we have this like a week or two ago? 7 with bottom of the deck. Let me set this over here in the box. We got influence, fear, exposed. We got community. We got soar, routine. And then bottom of the deck, sacred space. Feminine, masculine, take how it resonates. I'm not going to spend all day on this like a regular read. Because it was meant to be affirmations, but obviously when you're called to read a certain deck, you read a certain deck, and what comes out, comes out. We kind of had this like a week or two ago. Because I do the crow cards, twice a week? Once a week, maybe? So it's the same thing, basically. And who is this community? Is this like a family group, a friend group, a church group, a workplace maybe? Somebody tried to exert some type of influence. Somebody has been influencing a group or people or something, and they're fearful of this being exposed. They're trying to move away from what they were doing. They're trying, like how do I use an example? Okay, so if we did this like in the workplace, right? Because I've been talking about this kind of a lot lately, like gossip in the workplace. I don't know if you can see it. There's a black cat right there. They've been out there for like the last 20 minutes. If somebody is in the workplace, it's because I've been talking about gossip a lot. So let's say somebody's in the work. This is just an example. Somebody's in the workplace and they're a gossiper. They talk about everybody behind their back. They'll take information and half truth it, like half like. So let's say I tell Betty that Veronica had sex with Paul, but she likes Tim. So Betty will tell Damien that Veronica had sex with Paul and Tim. Kind of like flipping that story a little bit, changing it up a little bit. Maybe they didn't hear me the first time. Maybe they weren't paying attention, so they kind of made it what they wanted to make it. Maybe they did it on purpose, right? This gives purposeful, like, making up shit that they want to make up, right? So Betty starts this rumor about Veronica and Paul and Tim. Now they're fearful. Betty's fearful of being exposed. So she's going to move away from the gossip. Like, she's going to stop gossiping for a while. She's going to try and keep to herself for a little bit. She's going to avoid routines, old routines, and take on new routines, right? So she's going to stop hanging out with the same people, gossiping with the same people. She's going to kind of move away from that. She's going to try and find her own space, sit in her own space for a little bit, because she doesn't want to be exposed. She's hoping if she moves far enough away from the gossip that it won't get back to her. Okay? Now, when you have situations, there are sometimes people who are the gossip, right? Like if Veronica was part of the gossip, right? And she finds out about it and she's upset. She might move away from the community, from the work group, and start a new routine and find her sacred space, right? And that's okay. That's normal. When you feel like you're the subject of gossip, when you feel like you're the subject of hatred, maliciousness, whatever, it's normal to want to hermit and move away from that kind of shit, right? Because nobody wants that negativity. Growing people, healing people don't want that negativity. So it makes sense for them to move away. Betty moving away is just Betty trying to cover her ass, right? At the end of the day, I have to believe that people like that will eventually get exposed. Somebody's going to say something, and talk about them for who they are. Now, I will say this. It doesn't matter if you're Betty. It doesn't matter if you're Veronica. At the end of the day, whether you were the gossiper, whether you were the subject of gossip, you can change. You can heal yourself, and you can try and move on from that situation and situations and into something more positive. Whether you're Betty, whether you're Veronica. Will you get the karma for your bad deeds? Will you get the karma for your good deeds? Yeah, of course. That's how life works. But some people, like I've talked about it before in the past. Like I used to be the Betty, and I hung out with other Bettys, and I used to gossip about people, and I used to tell half truths, things that I heard that I didn't know for sure were true. And now I don't do that. Now I don't do that. I literally have like one friend that I talk to, and unless it's a situation I'm involved in, right, which I can give my side of the situation, I can't really tell anybody else's side of the situation. I can only speculate. But when it's something that I'm a part of, it's okay to talk about that up to a certain point. And we've talked about this before. It's the enlightened individual that can see all aspects of a situation and garner, at the end of the day, everybody has their own version. God is the only one that has the true version, because God sees everybody in the story. God sees everybody's heart and mind space. That's the way it is, if you believe. But whether you're a Betty or a Veronica, some people grow, some people heal, some people move on from situations like this. I can't say for sure that, Betty in this situation is not trying to heal for real. I can't say that they're not. In the cards, it's just there's this fear of being exposed for doing something or saying something, and they're moving away from it. Will they get their karma? Yeah, they're going to get their karma. Are they going to go back to whatever they were doing? Maybe, maybe not. I think every situation would be different. I think if this resonates for you, whether you're the Betty or you're the Veronica or the Paul or the Tim or the he, she, they, doesn't matter, right? At the end of the day, you have to make that decision for yourself. Are you going to heal from situations and move on and grow and try not to be part of situations like this? Or are you just going to move on from situations and start another situation and another situation because all you know is how to Betty? Anyway, that was my very long, convoluted example. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we got this like 2 weeks ago. I'd have to go back and look. Because did I do a crow reading over the weekend? Like Saturday, Sunday, something like that? Maybe that was it. I feel like it was longer than that, though. All right. I'm going to leave it there. You can always read into the cards what you want to read into the cards. You are more than welcome to do that. If you want to comment, feel free to comment. I would love to see comments. I always love to see comments. I hope everybody has a wonderful day today, whether you celebrate Christmas or not. I am off for 5 days. Just a reminder, I just said it in the other video. Just a reminder, I'm going to do affirmations every day. The collective and the tarot collective, I fully plan on doing every day while I'm off for the next 5 days. However, I don't know if I'm doing them late or early, late, somewhere in the middle. I don't know. So bear with me while I'm on my mini vacation. I hope everybody has a great holiday, whether you celebrate or not. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.